Hello, welcome to Hitchhiking Stars. I am Fernanda Paiva, and I am taking you on a journey with the astrological aspects for this week. So, Friday today, 24th, until next Friday, whatever day that is. Before we start, as per, how was this week for you? How was that new moon in Pisces? So, there's a new moon in Pisces on the 20th, which was Monday. So, just this Monday now. What was happening for you? Did you manage to get some achievable intentions there for you to kind of set during this Monday? Was that new moon picking up anything in special in your chart or doing anything that called your attention and you'd like to share? For me, this new moon on Monday was during Carnival, so quite interesting. We had a not full moon, sorry. We had a new moon in Pisces during Carnival, which is like when people really go overboard, but also when people dress up and do that whole like creative thing that people do during Carnival. I do like a kind of an old school Carnival feel, that dressing up and that kind of gives. But I confess I'm not really a crowd person. I have shared in a few videos already, I am a highly sensitive person. Being in crowds is definitely my worst, or one of my worst nightmares. Is very confusing, very difficult. In fact, on a Monday, the 20th, when we were having that new moon Pisces, there was a bloco, we call it here in Brazil, when there's like a street, basically a street party. Right on my street. So it's like very intense, very loud. And I was very happy not to have to go out. So I was just inside. I had everything I needed inside and I didn't have to go anywhere. So for me, that new moon was a kind of a retreat, even though there was a lot of silence. I also did a consultancy. So someone was doing a personal brand sort of consultancy for me, talking about personal colors, all of that stuff, like creating a little Pinterest style thing. So I had a little haircut as well. I'm not really putting my hair down because they put oil in my hair in the hairdressers. I don't like that very much. It looks like my hair is, I don't know, dirty or something, but it's not. It's just oil from the hairdressers. But had a haircut. I had some very interesting couple of hours on Monday. Just, I suppose that does count as a new moon in Pisces for me, as kind of setting the tone for these new foundations for personal brand and archetypes, archetypes used for personal branding and things like that. So I have the lover as my my triad of archetypes for my business is the lover. Here's the red nails. The lover, the explorer, so traveling, moving around a lot. In fact, I have my flight for next week already, going back to England for a few months. So the explorer is definitely one, and the rebel is the other one. So breaking patterns, doing things in a different way, etc. Have you heard of that archetypes and business? If so, and if you think that's useful, leave me a comment. If there's any source that you might tell me about as well, I'll be very curious to read. But that was my new moon Pisces, I have to say. I was alone in my flat. My partner went to Rio. Very brave. But obviously I didn't want, it's very, very crowded, very crazy. It's a little bit too much for me. So I just stayed over, chilling, setting intentions for, my new sort of phase, really. I mean, I might even try lipstick, and my mom couldn't believe it because I never enjoyed makeup ever in my life. I'm very like Venus and Virgo, very natural kind of, style. But let's see, I'm getting older, maybe changing my ways a little bit. So if you have anything really cool to tell me, write down in the comments. I'd love to know a little bit about your experience during this week. And in the meantime, why am I opening the chat? So let me share my screen and talk a little bit about this coming week. So this coming week, there isn't really anything in particular that really called my attention. We are sort of like headed towards a full moon. So the moon is growing, right? We had a new moon on Monday. and 4 days later. So the moon is still kind of growing, headed towards a full moon, towards a combination, but that's not going to be happening until later, until March. March the 7th, if I'm not wrong. And March the 7th is the day before Saturn moves to Pisces. So there's something quite exciting about March. March is going to be a very, very busy month, astrologically speaking. So keep tuned, because I am going to talk a lot more about what's going to be happening in March. There's also material I've sent to the Witches of Instagram as well, with, you know, some information about the month of March. The full moon as well is already up on their channel. So if you're very curious, just go have a look, check it out. And in the meantime, let's have a look at what's happening this week. Now, for this week, again, is that sense of like getting prepared for a combination, but also it's still that feeling, that sort of low-key feeling of a new moon, right? A new moon brings this sort of low-key, things are like beginning to pick up slowly, but not necessarily, you know, massive like speed yet. So here we have today moon in Taurus. Moon is conjoined North Node, so that's quite cool. There are a couple of conjunctions that are going to be happening this week, actually. A little bit like the previous week as well. Remember previous video we were talking about the conjunction between a few planets, Mercury, Pluto, Venus, Neptune, and there was another one. I can't remember right now. Anyhow, there were like a few different conjunctions that was happening, and we did talk about the Sun Saturn. That's what it was. So we did talk about the. Now we're gonna have a couple of other conjunctions as well this week, which might prove to be interesting. For today, Saturday and Friday and Saturday, so tomorrow again as well. There we go. We still have that Venus in Taurus. So it's great kind of weekend vibes, I guess, when we have that moon in Taurus. A sense of staying in our senses, staying in our body, sort of embodied pleasure, right? That does kind of comes to mind when I think about a moon in Taurus. But what's going to be happening that's interesting this week is, okay, so moon is coming close to Mars. That moon is going to pick up that Mars energy and exchange another trine to Mercury. So remember last week, like a couple of days ago, really, we had a Mercury-Mars trine, and I was saying how swiftly we could communicate, we could put our thoughts into something, and I did manage to do all of my presentation slides I said I was going to do. So I have a talk to give to the Witches of Instagram tomorrow on Saturday about the main shifts of 2023, astrologically speaking. So Saturn moving to Pisces, Pluto moving to Aquarius as well, and one more. The lunar nodes shifting signs as well. So I did manage to do all of my presentation, all the things that I really needed to do. And now we're kind of having a little bit of a reminiscence of that aspect, because the moon is going to kind of translate light. It's going to, you know, get close to that Mars again, and then get a trine to that Mercury as well. And Mercury is coming very, very close to conjoin Saturn in Aquarius as well. That's another very interesting conjunction that's about to happen. In fact, the Tuesday 28th of February is an interesting day, because we have that Moon Mars translation of light here with the Mercury, right? It's a square to Neptune as well, mind. So there might be like bit of confusion there, potentially in the middle, confusion about feelings, maybe not so much confusion about thoughts, because Mercury isn't really involved with that Neptune, but a confusion about communicating those feelings. It could be there, part of the picture, but it could also be a way of channeling something, because whenever there is Neptune, remember, I like to work with constructive astrology. It's not about being Pollyanna and like denial of any potential for things going a different way that we would like it to go, but it is about brainstorming positive ways of addressing astrological symbolism. Addressing, no, but like expressing those astrological symbols. So Moon, Neptune in square there, it could be a great time for channeling about your feelings, journaling about them before you share them with somebody else. And it could also be artistic. It could be very inspiring there for you to put something to paper. So if you are an artist, if you're a creative person, even if you're creating a new project, you're creating a new class, you're creating a new service, that's a great time to kind of brainstorm into that and put something into paper. I think ideas can really give rise during this week at this stage of the astrological transits of the week. Also, we're on a kind of a build-up of these two other conjunctions as well, right? So Mercury is about to conjoin Saturn, and Venus is about to conjoin Jupiter as well. That's very interesting. So Mercury-Saturn conjunction, for all of you that like rituals, that like intentions, that like witchcraft and magic and all of that, that's an amazing time for you to really manifest something, right? Saturn is about putting something into practice, making it concrete, right? Making it real. And Mercury is about thoughts. So we could really crystallize the mindset that we've been trying to upgrade. You know, really like, I don't know, create a vision board there. That's a good time to do it, you know? A vision board that you're actually going to take off the board and put into your life as well, you know, and like really make it real, make it possible. So that conjunction is forming during this week, and on that day on Tuesday is going to be strong. And the Venus Jupiter as well, you know, getting really in tune with our values, with our individual values, is a great time for, I don't know, investing in yourself, investing in your personal tastes, personal wishes, you know, beauty as well, beautifying yourself, beautifying your place, investing as well in courses that you've been wanting to do, you know, that's the Jupiter. But I think the combination of this Mercury Saturn with that Venus Jupiter is a wonderful combination to really crystallize a mindset that's about self-worth as well, for example. Okay, so increasing your sense of self-worth, that's a beautiful day, it's a beautiful couple of days to focus your energy on that. Okay. Oh, so let's move. Look, that's the conjunction is still forming. That's the conjunction still forming as well. The Mercury, Saturn, the Venus, Jupiter. That's 1st of March, Wednesday. And another amazing transit from this week that I really like as well is this grand trine. So you can see the blue triangle here. We have Sun in Pisces, 10 degrees, Moon in Cancer, you'll be hovering different degrees during that day, really. But we have Moon in Cancer, trine that Sun in Pisces, trine the South Node in Scorpio. So again, great for letting go, great for emotional healing, for emotional sharing, for forgiving, you know, forgiving the past, forgiving yourself as well. Like sometimes we talk about forgiveness, but we don't talk enough about self-forgiveness as well, you know, forgiving yourself for a wrong decision, for a wrong step that you may have taken, for something that you had to face consequences, and you're ready to kind of move on from it. It definitely has a taste of past, because part of the grand trine is in the South Node. So again, it's another little leap that we can take, another little ride that we can take with these astrological transits. It's going to further us through our journeys, really, you know, further a process of growth, of expansion. We just clear the decks, you know, and we keep too many things in our brains, in our minds, in our hearts as well, like from the past. It sort of occupies a space that could be taken, you know, by other things, by new projects, by new feelings, new us, you know. And it could also be beautiful for poetry, for writing something, you know. We're still on that Mercury, Saturn, Venus, Jupiter, you know, those two conjunctions there. So definitely, and it's a triple, really, it is a triple conjunction, because Chiron is so close as well to Jupiter and Venus. So there's something about healing our individuality, healing our sense of courage, you know, becoming braver about something, taking the step, taking the lead, testing something new as well, you know, because we add these qualities of Aries. But there's definitely something about these two conjunctions there that are enhancing this grand trine as well, or the grand trine is enhancing the, you know, is an interesting combination in the sky. So we can definitely use and direct this energy in a very positive way in our lives, in our projects, and the things that we really want to manifest in our lives. So here we go, 2nd of March, that's when we have the 2 exact conjunctions. So Mercury, Saturn will be 29 Aquarius, Jupiter, Venus will be at 12 Aries, with that kind of 13 Aries as well. So make the most of it, you know? This week is going to be great for that, great for setting intentions already, like not intentions like we set with the lunar cycle, but like intentions to crystallize a mindset that will have something to do with self-worth, with value. You know, your money mindset, that's a great time for doing something about it. Really like improving it, really going deep into writing huge words, you know, on your wall, whatever it is that you need, but really kind of trying to crystallize something, because that's the best. Like the weather is sort of supporting you here. It's really going to be enabling you to do that. Okay. And then we get Friday here. Friday, Venus and Chiron be conjoined, exact. And we're going to be aware as well of some of our wounds. Is the wounded healer, though, so we could also be healing some of these wounds as well. And Mercury will move to Pisces as well. We're going to have the ingress of Mercury from Aquarius to Pisces. So getting more into that Piscean season, the sort of psychic realms, channeling things, you know, becoming aware of things, knowing things without knowing. I love to think about that when I think about Pisces and the Piscean sort of archetype and Neptune, etc. And the water signs in general as well. So that's it for this week, really. I mean, mainly are those 2 conjunctions there that you can take that on board and make the most of these energies. Remember, astrology is a window that we use to look into. It doesn't hold the absolute ultimate truth. No matter what someone is saying to you, you don't have to take that and make it into an ultimate truth. If you go and see an astrologer and they tell you something that's uncomfortable, something that's scary, fear-mongering in some way, you don't have to believe in that or make that into a reality, make that into a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So we're using astrology to enhance our personal journeys, to make it more enjoyable and to serve to take a ride with the opportunities, to see the opportunities, right? So these are the opportunities for this week. Crystallize a mindset, something that's expanding your sense of attractiveness, your sense of worth as well. You know, you can do a lot about that. Change your ways with money if you've been trying to do that, if you've been trying to work with that. So let's make the most of it and be happy and fulfilled, because life is too short. And this is me for this week. Let me know in the comments how you're doing, how you're feeling, how is the new moon, if you have any plans for next week or for this week, if you had any insights, if you have anything in your astrology chart that might be connected with that current trine in water, or with those 2 conjunctions as well that we just spoke about as well. Let me know in the comments. And I am for another Paiva Hitchhiking Stars, and I will be seeing you all next week. So bye bye now.